Hello, baby. Hello, nasty. Hello there. Hello. I say hello. Hello, friend. Well, hello, little girl. Hello, my treacherous friends. Hello, operator. The beginning of everything. Welcome back, my friends. It's showtime.
Hey, it's episode 148 of The Brink of Sanity, and we have John here. How you doing, John?
I'm doing fantastic, Jason. How are you?
Good. It's been a little while, but not as long as previous times. So glad to have you back.
Glad to be back. I always love doing the show, man.
So do you want to get into what's going on with you first, or do you want to start on something lighter?
What do you normally start with, man? When you open up the show, how do you do it?
We usually just talk about what happened to each of us for the week, if anything of note happened, and then we'll get into like news stories or whatever.
Ah, okay. Well, what happened to you this week?
This week I had absolutely nothing happen to me because because I worked all week and absolutely nothing interesting happened, which is terrible for the podcast, but it can't be helped. We had our drama last week with the earthquakes and the hurricanes and all that, and
Armageddon and the end of the world.
Oh yeah, everyone just totally bugging out, and
for Category 2, you pussies, my lord. You know there was motherfuckers down there in New Orleans and everything going, what the fuck are they? What?
Yeah, I know. Seriously, people in Haiti are like, really? It was a 1.0.
No, the people in Haiti are actually like, ooh-la-la.
It was a 1.0, but it was the end of the world. So I made fun of the hurricane for like 3 straight podcasts, and then found out like every area except mine got hit pretty bad, and people were like without power and miserable, and like I had nothing here, so I had no idea. But there's people I know who got power like yesterday, meaning like 5 days without power.
Yeah, and then again, there's people in fucking Buffalo that go through 3 weeks of that every fucking winter with the ice. So.
Oh yeah, I would never live in a place like that.
I'd tell them to cry me a river, but that would be inappropriate right now.
Well, you don't get earthquakes where you are. You're in Illinois, right? So
no, we do. We do get a good shit. We're on that same fault line. That fault line that if it ever really did decide to let go and boogie down, it would like fucking rip the United States in half and shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're that what they felt in D.C. and everything. That's the fault line actually runs right through fucking Illinois and everything from like the Gulf of Mexico straight on up. That's why the Mississippi and the Illinois River and all those rivers run clean through the United States is because of that fault.
I am also the world's worst person at geography, so I don't even know where these rivers are. I don't know how I got so bad.
If you were in the Gulf of Mexico, you could go from the Gulf of Mexico up the Mississippi River straight up into Canada. It's like a straight line that goes up.
Okay, I think I could point that out on a map.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you get hurricanes too, tornadoes.
Tornadoes, which that's why I think people who have hurricanes, I don't really feel bad for. They're kind of pussies. I mean, you get like fucking 3 weeks advance notice that shit's gonna hit.
Yeah.
You get to board up your house and everything else. Here, and you get like 100-mile-an-hour winds. Here, you get a tornado. You get like 5 minutes warning. And it's a big black cloud of fucking death that's spinning around 300 to 500 miles a fucking hour,
Jesus.
And just comes through and will just indiscriminately level shit. I mean, it'll leave one house standing with not a window broken and completely destroy the rest of the block. I mean, it's like the fucking devil with attention deficit disorder. It's just completely fucking random shit.
Well, that sounds like absolutely no fun at all.
Earthquakes, I don't sneeze at because an earthquake would fuck shit up, but I'm out in the middle of nowhere. You know, I'm out in the middle of the fucking field, so I would just step outside during an earthquake. I'd be fine. But tornadoes, yeah, they actually bother me. You know, it's not a big pussy rainstorm with sustained winds.
Yeah, pretty much. There's nothing you can really do for a tornado.
No, you can't. That's the worst part of it.
Great. Yeah. So, and anything else happen to you this week? Natural disasters or?
No, actually, we were in the middle of like a mini drought, and right now, today it decided to finally rain. It got beautiful. I was I was working a third shift job, and I can get into all that later. But let's just say during the 6 or 8 weeks I was working after I got hired on, it was like a heat wave, a horrible drought heat wave here in the Midwest, where the temperatures were, 94 and above for like fucking 6 weeks every day, no rain. And humidity at like fucking 85, 90%, just fucking miserable shit.
That's what kills you.
Yeah. And when I got laid off out of nowhere, much earlier than I expected to be, the heat broke. I'm no longer in this fucking hot fuck little... The temperature inside where I was working at stood right around 150 and 120 degrees all night long.
Yeah, last time I talked to you, you seemed like you thought you might get laid off, but not like immediately. Yeah,
it would be a end of the year kind of thing. It's a little bit of a seasonal thing.
Surprise.
Yeah, but I was laid off for 3 weeks, long enough to draw half an unemployment check, and I got called back. But my point was that it was like fucking horribly, horribly hot out here, and then as soon as I got laid off, the temperature fucking dropped. Boom. And I don't think it got up above 80 degrees for 3 weeks while I was off. It was beautiful out there.
Well, that's great.
It was almost like fall. As soon as I get called back, these last 2 days, it's been like 95. We broke records the last couple days.
Oh, you work outside, right?
No, I work inside, but it's a short, squat, piece of shit, dump-ass little building. There's no air conditioning.
Oh.
The ceilings are low, and it gets up to about 120 degrees in there. Oh. And I completely lost. Oh, my whole point was it got that fucking hot, and now we finally are getting some rain because this cold front has moved through and dropped it down today from like 90 degrees when we woke up, and now it's like I think it's 69, 68 degrees. Beautiful outside. I can actually feel, I'm at the door. I can't go outside because it's pouring rain, but I'm at the door and I can actually feel the heat pulling past me going out of the house where I'm at to replace the cold air that's trying to come in.
All right. Weathercast, everybody.
Yeah. Fair to partly shitty out, folks.
One announcement, we're retrying to get into the top 10 on Podcast Alley. It's been like a year since I asked anybody to vote, but if you go to podcastalley.com and vote for The Brink of Sanity, that would be cool.
Vote, fuckers.
Every once in a while, I want to try and jump into the top 10, see if we could get some new listeners. I hate the people who run the site. I think the site's a piece of shit, but guess what? It gets a ton of traffic still, and getting in the top 10 does help. But the guy who runs the site is an asshole. Yeah. He basically just decided to ignore his site for a year and a half and ignore emails. And basically, if you look, we're on episode 148, and 118 is the most recent episode that shows up on his website. But it was a good one, so I guess that works out, right?
Yep, and there. Distraction gone. I've been attempting to, serendipitously, Country Boy use big words, put up a link here on Facebook to where folks can check you out in your chat room and on Ustream without leaving the comfortable confines of their Facebook page.
So you don't sound as microphone equipped as last time. This is full cell phone mode now.
Actually, last time I was on, it was full cell phone. What are you getting?
Well, I mean, you said you were setting up a studio, and
oh yeah. I can't use Skype because I'm on the shittiest internet ever. Satellite internet. Wild Blue.
Gotcha.
Wild Blue folks.
Wild Blue?
Yeah, there's Wild Blue and there's HughesNet, and those are like the only two games going.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it's
no wonder you can't get Ustream.
Yeah, you can't really live stream. I mean, I could live stream. There'd be horrible latency, But the thing is that on a 30-day rolling period, I'm only allowed to use 17 gig of bandwidth.
Oh.
And and if I go over that, they slow you down until you go back below 17 gig, which can take about 2 weeks sometimes, depending on how far you went over.
That's terrible.
It is.
Did they give the option to like pay more to have it faster, or?
No, I've said that. No, that's the maximum you can get. That's the premium package.
What?
And I pay about $80 a fucking month for that.
They're like hoarding it like it's a rare commodity.
Well, it's the way it works is you're on a beam and it goes to a satellite and then it's bounced back to you. And the thing about that beam is it's not just yours. It's everybody else who's in the area that's on that beam. So if you're hogging all the bandwidth, you're slowing everybody else down.
Don't you not have a neighbor for like a square mile?
Oh, fuck, more than that. I mean,
whose bandwidth are you hogging up? There's nobody near you.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, porn and everything else aside, I don't use that much. But when you get into like streaming and when I was putting out Random Ass Radio episodes, when you're uploading, 3.5 hour, 4 hour, half a gig shows, that really fucking starts to eat it up.
Yeah,
but the streaming is what mainly kills it.
So no Netflix streaming for you.
No Netflix. Well, like I was telling you before the show, if I want to go try and pirate some illegal music, joke, I don't do that.
Who does?
I have to go someplace where there's a decent connection. I tried McDonald's today, and if I could, I would like to say a big fuck you to McDonald's. You're a multi-billion-dollar fucking combination. You're a multi-billion-dollar corporation, and your Wi-Fi sucks dick. Your Wi-Fi is the most horrible fucking my connection here at my house with just fucking Pony Express internet is better than the fucking passenger pigeon shit they have for McDonald's Wi-Fi. I don't know why they even offer it. What's the fucking point of having it?
Do you have Starbucks by you?
No, I am really, really out in the middle of nowhere, man.
Because they have free Wi-Fi, and people will get like a small cup of tea and then just camp out for 8 hours and use the internet all day.
Oh, we sat in the McDonald's booth for a good 3 or 4 hours, nursing Cokes.
Yeah, but that's McDonald's. They deserve it.
Yeah, they didn't really seem to care too much. And I actually came upon a really good idea while I was there too. It's part of I don't like I said, I work third shift, and third shift here is I would go in. I had to be at work, and I worked from 10 at night until 6 in the morning. So 10 to 6, and I would get off at 6 in the morning. I would come home, and it's during the summertime, so the kids are asleep, my wife's asleep, and it's basically just got off of work, so I want to drink and all that. And they're going to be asleep for a while because it's their summer, and they get to fucking sleep in.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to get bored, and my oldest son, who's in college, happened to be home for the summer, and he had been on my ass forever to watch a series. I don't know what fucking network it used to be on, but their dicks for canceling it. It was called Firefly. It was a science fiction series. I don't know if you've ever. I
actually queued up for it on Netflix. I heard it's like one season, but it was a kick-ass season.
It really was, and they ended the season like because they weren't getting the right kind of they weren't getting the ratings, I guess. And I decided one night, because I had watched all the movies that I'd wanted to catch up on in my collection and all that, and like I said, I had to kill this time. And I'm about the other thing that's weird is that I'm drinking at 6 in the morning. I'm getting off work at 6. I'm like drunk by 10 in the morning. Which is kind of neat, but. So I watched Firefly, and that got me hooked because I believe, like I was telling you before, I didn't understand the whole buying a season on DVD. I was like, fucking watch it. Part of the fun of watching. I was a big fan of Lost. I know that's a sticking point for you. Yeah. I was a big fan of Lost, and part of it was like, hey, it's fucking Thursday night, time to watch fucking Lost. So that to me was like, why would you want to waste your time and not have that fun? But I watched Firefly and got to watch all those seasons, and I'm like, well, this is pretty fucking cool. So there were some other seasons of shows that people had said, you really need to check this out, that I decided to check out. One of them was Sons of Anarchy, which is about, it's an FX show. I think it's an FX show, not for sure. But it's about a biker gang in California, motorcycle gang. That one got me hooked. I wasn't surprised at that. I figured I'd end up liking that. You know, it's white trash Sopranos pretty much, you know.
Yeah.
Without all the Italian. And then Dexter, which was not anything like I expected it to be.
It's so good.
I fucking Trinity season. Oh my god, fucking great. I really, really love it. My boys won't high five me ever since the Thanksgiving episode where Arthur broke Jonah's fucking pinky finger. And shit.
The most awkward episode of any TV show ever.
Oh, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. What really made it for me in that Thanksgiving episode was when they're sitting at the table, and they're all talking about. He wants them all to talk about what they're thankful for, and then he's like, "Well, nobody said they were thankful for me." And then his wife and everything's like, you know, Jonah wouldn't say anything, his daughter wouldn't say anything, and his wife's like, "Well, we're all thankful for you, Arthur." And he looks at her and he goes, "Shut up, cunt." And at the exact same time that Dexter said it, as soon as he said it, I said the same thing. I was like, "Whoa, Arthur! Thanksgiving, man. Don't call it the woo." And yeah, drags the man through his own house in front of his family by the belt. Should have fucking killed you when I had the chance. It is. It's a great. I hate to go off on a tangent here too, but nothing has surprised me on a show or upset me more than the fact that they killed fucking Rita. Yeah.
That was the last season I watched, and
we just finished watching the Julia Stiles season, and it's not bad at all. It's still Dexter. It's really good, and it opens up with him. You know, it's not like it doesn't skip forward and just kind of explain real quick what happened. Rita's dead. No, how are you holding up, Dexter? No, it's him in the front yard, down on his hands and knees with blood all over him, fucking holding the baby, going, "It's my fault. I did it."
Nice.
You know? And then goes from there. So it's a real good season too.
Well, I just got DVR for the first time ever. I know I'm like 10 years behind on all technology. I just got a smartphone too. But I'm sick of being like 2 years behind in every show. And then by the time I watch it, nobody wants to talk about it anymore because it's like years ago. So
right.
I got DVR. I'm going to record, the new season as it comes on. And all the last season just came out on DVD. So I'm going to catch up while I'm recording the new season. So by like Christmas, I can actually be a normal human being and talk about shows as they're actually on.
Yeah, definitely. I've caught up with all of the ones that I'm on the third season of Sons of Anarchy because it finally just came out, and the new episodes are getting ready to start. I started The Sopranos because I'd never watched The Sopranos. I watched the first season. I like it. I get it. It's fucking entertaining. But the one that I'm going to tie back in with sitting at McDonald's is I started watching Breaking Bad.
That's my next show to start. Everyone's telling me that's awesome.
It really, really is. It's absolutely a fantastic show. And for those of you not familiar with what Breaking Bad's about, it's Malcolm in the Middle's dad. He's a very, very mild-mannered 50-year-old chemistry teacher who's let people walk over him all of his life. He's always been just kind of meek. And he finds out he has terminal lung cancer. And long story short, I don't want to go into the whole plot description. You'll figure it out if you watch it. He decides to manufacture the purest, best meth on the market with another fella. And since he's only been given a few months to live, he's going to manufacture this meth. He's going to take the cash, he's going to put it away, and that's what his family's going to live on after he dies. Did I mention his wife is pregnant with the baby? I mean, he's doing the meth thing for all the right reasons. But we started watching that, and while we were watching it, I got laid off. So, I was working a third shift fucking hot fuck job, barely making the money to fucking get by with what I could, and I get laid off. I'm like, well, fuck it. It's a vacation. They told me up front I would probably get laid off. They'll call me back. The guy who called me to tell me was the owner. He's like, yeah, well, we're going to lay you off, but, you can draw unemployment. You're going to come back when we've got the work again. We really like what you were doing, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
If I like what I was doing, man, I come in every day, and I wasn't drunk, and I stayed the whole day. So I get laid off from that job, and I'm like, fine. Things are tight and everything else. Money's tight, but it'll be all right. Then my car breaks down. It's the only car I have. And I live out in the country. And when you live out in the country and you don't have a vehicle, you're fucking stuck.
Yeah, you need a car out there.
Yeah, you're totally fucking stuck. And during this time, I was watching Breaking Bad and everything, and I'm watching it with my middle son, who is a senior in high school. And both of my boys, the oldest boys, are very, very, very intelligent when it comes to chemistry and math and everything else. And it started out us watching it and me going, you know what, I'm kind of tired of being broke all the time. We could make meth. We'll get your brother with his chemistry background there at the college and everything, and we'll make meth. So we've been joking about it. Well, in the meantime, this senior son of mine wants a car. He wants the new Elder Scrolls Skyrim when it comes out in September. He wants a lot of stuff. So he went and got himself a fucking job. And it's a shit job. He's working at Dairy Queen, but he's making some money. He maybe probably went and got a job. He comes home, and his big thing is he's a big Call of Duty guy. You play any Call of Duty?
I can't get into the first-person shooters.
Yeah, I never really could either. But he's like he's an idiot savant at it. I mean, he's very gifted and he's very good at it.
I appear, I get shot in the head. I reappear, I get shot in the head, and I'm like throwing the controller within 5 minutes. Those games are just so aggravating. Yeah, well, he's the one who keeps shooting you in the head. Is who he is. Yeah, also, like, you can't beat those games. You just play until you die. Like, yeah, I like basically actually beating a game. Those games just infuriate me. Well, the thing about Call of Duty is since we moved out here, you can't play it online, which is the only reason to really have it. I mean, if you're good at it, you can beat the fucking story mode in 10 minutes, right? Yeah, I mean, if you can't be the prick that's shooting guys in the head, there's really no point in playing the game. Yeah, there's no way to play it with the internet we have. So he was telling me there's a house uptown, and they're renting it for just $200 a month because it sits right by the railroad track, so it's loud. But when you're in town, you can get Comcast cable, which is high-speed internet. Boom. So that opened the discussion of, if you did that, you could have a game room in there and split the utilities, and I'll set up a studio in there. And, hey, joke, we'll start manufacturing meth down in the basement. We'll have a little startup cost with the filter system and everything, but we'll do it smart. We'll keep it in the family, and, of course, we don't use our own product. That's ridiculous. If you have a restaurant, you don't eat all the food. It's how the fuck people. Right. Ha-ha. Well, that changed. He's like, no, I would never make meth. And I was like, yeah, I know meth kills people and all that. I go, but you know what? We could grow marijuana. We could grow a lot of marijuana in the basement. Nobody dies from marijuana. I'm sure I could find some strains, some real good strains, because where we're at, it's the middle of nowhere. Everybody's, smoking ditchweed, and we're next to a college town. I get a good indica strain in here or something. Just joking, the way I do. And he's begun to take me seriously about it and keeps bringing it up. Like, I've talked to a couple friends about what you said, and they said, oh, God, they could move all kinds of stuff around here. Nobody ever has anything. Oh, God. Which the tie-in with McDonald's is we sat in McDonald's on our laptops and shit for about 4 hours. Nobody said a fucking word. Nobody even paid attention to us. And I realized there's the final step, because the final thing I couldn't think of is, where does all the traffic go? Okay? Do I have people, coming by this rented house? I don't want people coming by where I live, And I just realized if we just act like a bunch of fucking dipshits in there, fucking around on our computers for the free Wi-Fi, and I saw the group of people that was coming in and out of McDonald's, that's our customer base for the fucking weed. They come over, share a cup of coffee, get what the fuck they need to get and everything, and get out, and then there's no traffic. And it doesn't, and you let the manager know, hey, I'm in here. You become a fixture. Then you talk to the manager. Look, I've got a little business proposition for you. I'll give you X% off the top. You don't fuck with me sitting in here. Anybody asks any questions or starts getting fucking nosy about it, you let me know. I move on to a different restaurant, and then I'll start fucking cycling them through. So, yeah, that's the main plan. I think Breaking Bad has shown me how I can start actually making some real money instead of working all these dead-end jobs. See, TV's actually good for you. Exactly. Series on DVD is actually good for you. Yeah, I just canceled my streaming Netflix. I'm done with that. Bunch of garbage on there, and then they just lost their Stars account, which I don't even know what Stars has. Isn't it a channel that just shows crappy movies? You know what? It shows the good crappy movies, though. Does it? Yeah. Like if you wanted to go out, if you want to turn on cable, it's very hard to find a commercial-free, unedited version of Kroll.
and they'll show the fuck out of Kroll or the Beastmaster or shit like that.
Yeah, Netflix offered them $300 million a year, and their old contract was $30 million, and they still want more. So they said, "Fuck you."
Starz guys?
Starz, yeah. So
wow.
They're I think in like next week, I think it's all gone. So if you have Netflix streaming and you like the Starz movies, watch the shit out of it for another week, because that's about it. Yeah, I'm done with the streaming. I do agree with you. Series on DVD is awesome. Number one, because I just can't do commercials.
Yeah, I've got DVR fucking ruined me on that.
Yeah, I just got DVR, and I'm really looking forward to it. But that's why I can't watch football. There's so many commercials. I like when they get a touchdown, and then they go to commercial and do the extra point in commercial and kickoff in commercial. I'm either asleep or I'm in the other room doing something, forgetting what I was doing. And I think football should do what soccer does and put advertisements around the stadium and on the jerseys and play without commercials.
NFL does. I mean, there's a Nike swoosh and Reebok shit on all the NFL uniforms.
Well,
but you're talking about, I mean, what other medium, what other sport is there where, you know, there's an entire fucking set of the media devoted to the commercials that are played during its championship game? Who else gets charged that much during their championship game? I mean, I think football has become America's game over baseball. That's all. I
do too. I'm just surprised. Like, maybe it's just like New York and Long Island, but the newspapers, no matter what's going on, they have baseball on the cover. You have to flip through like 7 pages of baseball shit in the newspaper until you get to any other sports, and it's like that year round.
Well, look how much your major sports teams. You're talking about the Mets and the Yankees.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah.
Look how much money the organizations spend. I mean, they have to have constant attention on them. And seriously, with the Jets and the Giants, you know, they had the fluke back there against the Patriots a couple years back.
That was no fluke. I don't know what you have for newspapers out there. Our newspapers have went complete tabloid. There's no like legitimate newspaper anymore. Like the New York Post last week, the front page said, "The stock market is like a hooker's trousers, up and down." And there was a big picture of a hooker on the front of the paper. I'm like,
really?
This is like our legitimate like newspaper. The Inquirer would say that was not a classy cover.
Do you know, I would probably not use a prostitute, though, that was wearing trousers.
Yeah, I thought that was a weird wording of their article.
Why not legs? Up and down more than a prostitute's legs, or up and down more than a prostitute's head.
Yeah.
Trousers? What kind of prostitute is that?
I have no idea. But the fact that they're just comparing the stock market to hookers just so they could show like a pretty lady on the cover of the newspaper really shows what route they're going in.
Well, you know why? Because the printed media is about fucking dead. At least till the power goes off, it is.
Yeah. I mean, every day they either try and show a girl on the cover, or they have like, you know, a word like shame on you or scoundrel, villain. You know, it's always like trying to like really just out somebody as being a terrible person. And that's just what's on the cover every day.
I really wish they'd quit bandying about scoundrel too, like they do, because I like to think of myself as a scoundrel. But you call Rupert Murdoch and any other motherfucker that fucks up, that's the new word, is scoundrel. Like, no, they're not scoundrels.
I don't think you could be a scoundrel unless you have a mustache that you can twirl.
Or a little pencil thin, yeah.
You have to have the scoundrel mustache.
Tap people's phones.
It goes with the territory. You can't be a scoundrel unless you're twirling your mustache when you're thinking about your dirty deeds you're about to do.
See, now, if you're twirling your mustache, I think you're more of a villain, like a Snidely Whiplash kind of guy. Yeah, I think if you have like the little pencil thin, kind of the John Waters type of mustache, or you know, if you're just kind of running a con, that's what a scoundrel does. Scoundrel's not really a bad guy. He's a lovable bad guy. You know, he's not the guy who's going to tie you to the train tracks. He's the guy who's going to try and, you know, sell you the train tracks when he doesn't really own them.
Right, he does something to you, and you're just
still like, oh, you.
Yeah, oh, you scoundrel.
Yes.
I think we need to break down, at maybe in a future episode, break down what constitutes each type of bad guy. What's a scoundrel? What's a villain? What's a criminal? I think that would be fun.
A malcontent.
Yeah, a malcontent. Let's see.
I honestly don't believe I've ever run. I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't, like, in today's news, I couldn't tell you who's a malcontent. Maybe the people who are rioting in London.
Yeah, maybe. What about like Lindsay Lohan? Is she a malcontent?
Nah, skank.
Just a straight up whore.
No, not a whore. Skank.
Skank.
I mean, whores charge. Whores are noble. Whores are providing a service, right?
They're business people.
And when you're with the whore, it's like, okay, you're a whore. I'm going to give you money for whatever sexual service you're going to provide, and when we're done, you're going to fucking go away. You're a whore. It's a profession. Lindsay Lohan is in the skank category, where you're just fucking dirty and nasty and a hanger-on and just all about yourself and your skankiness.
You have a really good grasp on this stuff. Have you ever thought about teaching at a community college?
Not since the restraining order. Not an option.
Oh, did I tell you I'm a Cat Williams fan now?
You should be. You know what? As much as I want to hate Cat Williams, I fucking love Cat Williams.
Yeah, in theory, I should hate him.
Around?
What brought me around is he made fun of a Mexican during his show, and people were saying it was xenophobic, and there was an apology statement that went out, and he said, no, that was made by my publicist. I actually meant what I said, and I do not apologize for what I said. And then he said, apologizing is for the Tracy Morgans of the world. Which I thought was awesome, because those who remember, Tracy Morgan made anti-gay statements and then did an apology like 24 hours later.
Yes.
So
Tracy Morgan pulled a Kramer.
Right, exactly.
Which is ironic, actually, if you think about it.
Yeah. He said, this ain't no Mexico. It used to be Mexico, bitch, and now it's Phoenix. And then he started chanting USA, USA, USA. And he said, I don't need to apologize for being pro-American.
That's right. You know what? 3/4 of the people that may have heard it probably couldn't understand what the fuck he was saying anyway if it was in English.
And he said, do you remember when white people used to say, go back to Africa, and we'd tell them we don't want to? He said, if you love Mexico, fucking get the fuck over there. And now I love Cat Williams.
I've always loved Cat Williams. He's one of those guys that I don't want to like, but I do. You and I had a discussion about Mark Marone. I don't want to like Mark Marone. For those of you who don't know, he does the WTF podcast. He's a stand-up comedian and all that. But I do, because he's funny. And Cat Williams, aside from all the knee-jerk reactionary, oh, you can't say bad stuff about people, that's not funny. No, Cat Williams is fucking funny.
He's one of those people that
I think... And you know why Cat Williams shouldn't be fucked with? Because you know who Cat Williams will fuck with before he fucks with anybody else or on equal amount of time? Himself. He will run himself into the ground just as much as he runs anybody else in.
Do white people even know who Cat Williams is?
I think a lot of people do. Look at me. I live out in the middle of fucking bumfuck nowhere, and I knew who Cat Williams was even before I played Grand Theft Auto 4.
I only know who he was because of one of the celebrity roasts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm into stand-up, but I follow a lot of stand-up on cable as far as HBO One-Night Stands and stuff. Like, I'm really kind of geeky about it, getting into and finding shit like that. And Cat Williams his stand-up is fucking funny.
Yeah, no, he's not bad at all. And
yeah,
I like the refusing to apologize for shit, because The new trend is that no matter what happens anywhere in the world, somebody's offended, and then whoever did the thing, even if it wasn't offensive, feels forced to make an apology. And it's totally phony, but they do it. And the fact they said, no, I'm not apologizing, I think is awesome.
I do too, but you know who really needs to step up and quit being pussies is not so much the comedians themselves. They're kind of forced to that because they have publicists, they have booking agents, it's got to the point where the people who can book them, the people who can put them on stage, the people who can put them on screen, the people who can cast them in a movie are so terrified of the public and their reaction to what somebody fucking says that if they say something, then they've got to answer all these people who basically have, a hold of the reins on their career. Mm-hmm. And so Cat Williams wasn't just saying "fuck you" to all the people who were offended. He was basically saying "fuck you" to his entire support group, and he was standing up and he was being a man.
And he also called out
but he was standing up and being a fucking man.
Yep, and he also called out who I think is one of the most overrated comedians ever in Tracy Morgan.
Yeah. You know what? I like Tracy Morgan. I love Tracy Morgan's character on 30 Rock. It's funny, but that's not stand-up. You know what I mean? And he went in and thought he could, I guess, ride his popularity through. I think Tracy Morgan did have Kramer syndrome. I think he thought, I'm this character that everybody, thinks that I am. I can throw out whatever I want, and they're going to go, oh, no, that's just his character. Just like Michael Hutchins thinking, I can throw out fucking nigger, this and that, and, oh, that's just Kramer, ha, 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 people love me. It doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't.
It should. You should just be able to say whatever the fuck you want. And for anybody listening that gets offended, by somebody saying nigger or somebody saying spick or gook or anything like that, go back and watch some old episodes of The Jeffersons, fucking All in the Family, Maude. Go watch some of those old 70s sitcoms. They were way less fucking uptight than we are now. You know what they were uptight? The only thing they couldn't show then was like the sex that we show now. We can show all kinds of fucking sex and everything, but don't say anything racial or don't say anything to do with religion. It makes me sick. Because you know what? In the everyday world, that's not fucking TV. The everyday world that's not media, that's not fucking TMZ, that's not the shit on the internet that's shoved down our throat. In the everyday world, motherfuckers that are all different from each other work in places like I work. They work in factories, they work at gas stations, and they work in offices and shit, and they all give each other shit about how different they are. And they make those fucking jokes.
Yep.
There's no fucking line like there is in the media. But there's going to be because the media just keeps shoving it up our fucking ass like that that's just bad and people aren't different. Well, people are fucking different.
I don't get what the rationale is about making a big stink of every single thing you see on TV. I just, or in print, or what people say. What are you trying to accomplish other than having other people deprived of things? Like, I think it was a couple episodes ago, I talked about how Sherlock Holmes got banned from a school because it said something about Mormons. And
yes.
What are you trying to accomplish by complaining? I don't understand what you're trying to get out of that. Now the entire class can't read Sherlock Holmes. So you're happy? That was your goal? I don't get it.
That's what killed me is it was Mormons. It was Mormons that got him in trouble. Sherlock Holmes is nothing else. The classic Sherlock Holmes stories that are uncut. He shot cocaine. He did shit like that. And nobody had a problem, but he said something about fucking Mormonism.
And it wasn't even bad. It was just that the community didn't approve of a Mormon marrying a non-Mormon, which is the truth. They would not approve of that. So it's not even like they were saying Mormons are assholes or every Mormon's a faggot. It was actually something that would really happen.
Actually, if they're like that, then that makes every Mormon like a Hasidic Jew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you can't say that.
Catholic.
You can't say that, though.
More people need to. You know what? That's what we need to do. That's what we need to. Why isn't there a group out there? I guess because everybody's too chicken shit to fucking be that group that we can say what we want. Oh no, that group's out there, John. It's the Ku Klux Klan, and it's not. It's not. I don't hate anybody. I hate not being able to fucking talk the way I talk.
Yeah, it's not about being racist.
Your words are ignorant. No, they're not ignorant. They're my words, and I can say them if I fucking want to say them.
Yeah, we're not, like, trying to say, oh, everyone should be able to be racist. It's just, like, you shouldn't have to sit there and think about if people are going to get offended or, like...
Or ruining your career that you worked your whole life toward.
Yeah, for one comment that is taken out of context or, exaggerated to the point where it's not even what you originally meant to say.
What it really, I think it all boils down to is it's the amount of money that's involved. It's the same in politics, and I think it's the same with media anymore. There's a bunch of money and power involved with who you are in relation to being in the media and to being in politics, and that's how your enemies can take you down. Half the time I think what Tracy Morgan said, it might have gotten viral on YouTube and everything else, but somebody started the wheels rolling.
But I feel like a lot of times it's just like a bored housewife that's making this stink.
Yeah, I always used to think that, too. I always thought the people who really fucking have a problem with this are the people who've, like, lost control in their own life, the people who are, like, fucking 350 pounds, or they've got a husband they know that's fucking around, or a wife they know is fucking around, or, they're fucking totally controlled in the rest of their life by their boss and their spouse and all that, or they've got no control in their life, and the way they feel they can get control is by controlling what the fuck other people say and do.
Yep, or just making other people as miserable as they are.
Yeah, well, that's the way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the fountain lady who wanted to sue everyone for putting the video of her falling into the fountain. And, basically she just made everyone aware of what happened. You saw that video, right?
You know what? I would not have known about that video if it had not. You brought it up on the show, the last show I was on.
I can't get enough of that fountain lady. I'm so glad she ended up in jail after we did that podcast. It just made my day. So what do you say we take a quick break, refill our drinks, and maybe do the top 5 most badass movies of the 80s?
That sounds absolutely wonderful, man.
All right, we'll be right back. In the meantime, while you're listening to these commercials, you can subscribe on iTunes. You can send us an email at thebrinkofsanity@gmail.com, or just go to brinkofsanityshow.com. We're doing 1001 rants on there, so you can read a couple rants and vote on Podcast Alley. So we'll see you soon.
I need a garage door opener for my balls.
What the fuck?
I don't like the smell that usually forms down there if I go for a couple days without washing.
I'm proud of you.
It smells like onions wrapped in asshole.
What the fuck are we talking about?
Hey, Dad, remember that one time I got that cock stuck in my ass?
He just went over legs and arms.
In a truck not too hard to locate, featuring painted images of a peeled banana, the exposed part shaped like a condom, and a shirtless man saying, "I protect myself," to you.
What kind of fucking question is this? I'm the host of the show, and I get put down on every episode.
I love you, Tim.
John is a man of God.
Shed his precious blood.
Shed his precious blood.
And died.
And died.
Oh, my sin. And now the 3 guys that taught your mom that thing you like. It's Minor Detail.
MinorDetailPodcast.com.
Let's cut to the chase. I'm DJ, and I do a little something called the Green Light Show. Now, I want you to be a fan of the show, so I'm making you listen to this sample. And these girls, they think, oh, as long as I show off my tits, I'm fat. I'll wear this skin-tight shirt and show off all my tits.
Yeah, I see
That'll look real good.
I see that
a lot actually, and it's it's rather disgusting.
And I've heard these girls, they'll say stuff like, well, you're looking.
Yeah, because I want to throw up.
Yeah, just because I'm looking at your enormous exposed tits, that doesn't mean I like them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like driving by a car wreck, if I were to see a 6-year-old boy's head smashed and run over by an SUV, just because I can't look away, that doesn't mean I like the way it looks. I went to go see Toy Story 3.
My bad.
I don't mean to spoil the movie for anybody, but Andy dies.
Does he get AIDS?
Andy gets AIDS in Toy Story 3 from a gay orgy. He got drunk. He went up to
at college.
The plot of this is it shows Andy leaving his parents in the beginning, his mom's house.
Yeah, his single mom.
Where the fuck is Andy's dad?
His mom's a single mom.
So the opening scene is just Andy going, "Mad at you, mom, fuck off!" And Andy drives off to his college,
smoking weed.
Andy gets to college, and the first thing, he opens the door to his new apartment, and his roommates, who he's never met, are in there. They go, "Hey, Andy, rub this on your tongue." Andy starts fucking all these dudes. It's a big giant orgy.
Wow.
It's like gays and lesbos and normals, and they're all just intertwined fucking.
That's weird.
And then Woody shows up, but it's not Woody. It's Andy's dick with a cowboy hat on it. And he goes, "Check out my Woody!" If you like what you hear, head on over to greenlightshow.com. You can find out everything about the show right from the homepage. greenlightshow.com. See you there.
All right, we are back with John from not Random Ass Radio.
No, not Random Ass Radio anymore.
Well, that's sad.
Yeah, not so much bad, and not so much bad. I wish I had my microphone and stuff hooked up right now. For those of you that can't tell, I'm on a cell phone because of the pre-mentioned shitty internet. So I could play a few drink breaks. Actually, science powder. Random Ass Radio is no longer going to be Random Ass Radio. I did the show with Andy, my partner. Andy, my partner, who was a partner insofar as he would show up for a few shows and talk. He was also the son-in-law of the owner of the place I worked, and the husband of one of the people who made the girl who made the main decisions there, the daughter of the owner. And he and I were tight for a while, and then shit got really weird at work. And I mean really weird. I mean, really, if I wasn't afraid of getting sued, I would so go into it because it's such a fucked up story. But it got super weird, and it got real personal, and not so much me personal, because you all have heard me. If you ever listen to Random Ass Radio, I would tear into Andy about not doing shit on the show. But never off air trying to do anything to each other to be hurtful. But even though it was this shitty little podcast that fucking 12 people listened to, he let me know through a lawyer, because Andy has a great deal of resources as far as money goes. He has pretty much unlimited resources as far as money goes.
Must be nice.
Yeah, no shit. Well, it's not nice for the trade-off that he's had to make. I mean, it's not his money; it's his wife and his mother-in-law's money. So he has to be like their little bitch boy and everything.
Yeah.
You can't deal with that. You are a little bitch boy. I'm not bitter, but God damn it, I have the greatest logo. But he made a point of that I could no longer use Random Ass Radio because Random Ass Radio basically was both of ours. Because when we started out, we were idealistic and bright-eyed and figured, no, we're equal partners all the way down. And now it's basically he got a fucking attorney, and the attorney told me that you cannot use, the Random Ass Radio. He went and he bought the copyright for the name and everything else.
Oh, Jesus! So his name is on everything.
Yeah, he spent like $300 and something to own the rights to the name Random Ass Radio.
So wait, he doesn't want to be a part of the show, so he's just busting balls.
His wife would never let him do the show.
So he's just busting balls to let you not do it.
It was the hardest thing for him to be able to do the show with me every week because of interference from her. But it's so much personal shit that I can't even get into it. But yeah, just because everything became personal where I worked, because I was working for family, there was like 5 of us employees. It wasn't like a big company or anything like that. It became really personal, and when I left, because they were actually trying to force me out anyway, you all heard that I'm not fake poor. I'm real poor. I have a car with 200,000 miles on it that just threw a fucking rod. I'm broke. And they were having me drive that piece of shit car like 110 miles round trip every day. They made me like drive even further out of my way to different farms that I didn't need to go to, just because they knew it would cost me in gas and wear and tear and all this bullshit. So what I did was I spent that time finding myself another job close. I didn't give them 2 weeks' notice. I just didn't show up that day that I started my other job. Never even had a day off between. But because of all that personal shit, and they thought that they could, make me angry or make me toe the line by trying to control me that way and make me go, oh, I'm sorry, I'll do whatever you want. Since I didn't, the only way that I guess they thought they could get back at me was to spend $300, which is nothing to them. Seen them spend it on their fucking deadbeat relatives who want fucking money all the time, like in a fucking heartbeat, and buy up the rights to Random Ass Radio. I'm getting ready to get rid of my logo. But they couldn't buy that because Stephen Dorsey of Dorsey Design, folks, Stephen Dorsey of Dorsey Design would not sell the logo.
Nice. All right.
And if any of you want to Google Stephen Dorsey, STEPHEN DORSEY, he refused to sell it. And if I could ever get up to Minnesota and kiss that man directly on the face, I would. And that brings me to what he is going to do for me. He's going to make me a new design for a continuation, basically, of Random Ass Radio. Random Ass Radio was me, either yelling at Andy for not being around or just being me. And it's going to come back. I just can't think of a name. If I could think of a name, I could buy the domain. Boom. I'd be back up and going.
Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. Crazy shit. And that is the one thing that's holding me back right now. I've recorded some shit. I've done some shit. I'm ready to roll. I need a good name.
Do you just say like "welcome to" and then leave like blank space so you can fill that in later and then do the rest of the podcast?
Oh, I've become much more of a fucking sound engineer ninja than that. I can throw all that. I just can't think of a proper name. It's going to be more along the lines of. I guess not me ranting and raving so much, but me with maybe a little sitting on old Uncle John's knee and him telling you a story, and maybe old Uncle John get a little too much beer in him and ranting and raving, and the drink breaks will still be there. I mean, a lot of that intellectual property I still own. I just don't own the name to it, and I can't have the fucking website anymore, which I'm glad I put 2 years of work into fucking getting that where I was.
Jesus.
But, that's the only thing holding me back right now is I really, really need a decent name, and I cannot think of a good name.
So what about all the old episodes?
Got so used to it. Huh?
What about all the episodes that you have? Like, are you not allowed to have those up?
I'm free to use whatever I want as long as he is not in it.
So any episode he's in, like, is just a lost episode at this point?
Well, you know that one of the biggest problems he and I have had was that he wouldn't talk anyway. I would sit there and have to constantly fill space and all that. So, no, I'm not too worried about it, and I've got ways around that. In fact, I'll probably be releasing a few episodes that are a best of, and then as soon as I come up with a name, and then there'll be the new website, and it'll be up on iTunes, and it'll be a new show. Hoping for a weekly deal and hoping to keep it hard drive friendly as far as memory usage. No more 5-hour shows and shit.
And that's no joke. You've actually had 5-hour shows before.
Huh?
I said that's no joke. You've actually had 5-hour shows before.
Oh yeah, it was big, drunken, rambling messes. And when all this happened at first. What I wanted to do was, like, flip out and get drunk and, like, really, I'll show you and do Random Ass Radio. for fucking 12 hours and, just all this shit.
Yeah.
And the more I thought about it, I think the best revenge would be for those of you that really, love the show, if you ever listen to it, or would just like an alternative to most of the crap that's out there. Just check it out. It'll be around as soon as it has a name. If anybody has a name that they would like to maybe submit, randomassradio@gmail.com. Send it there. Because Johncast doesn't work. I thought about Big Papa Versus just because I wanted to use Notorious B.I.G. going, I love it when you call me Big Papa. It's one of my favorites. But, I can't think of what the fuck to call it.
Can you name the show Fuck You, Andy?
And see, that's the thing. I can't. The cursing part, because I ran into trouble with ass being in the name of the show.
I was thinking that too. Yeah, people are really touchy about that kind of stuff.
And not people, the websites and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like Random Ass Radio on iTunes is random *** radio.
So then you can't even search for it.
Yeah, it's hard to fucking come across. So I thought about maybe calling it. I can't call it rant because it's not really rant. It's more of a funny, fun time thing. I have no clue, and that's the only thing holding me back from putting shit out right now is actually a good name, because you have to have a decent name. Some fucker already took The Brink of Sanity. I can't use that. That's a great name.
What a dick.
I mean, that's right out there. There's no cursing in it. It's very easily recognizable. I just don't know what to call it. I thought about the Satanic Verses, but that's been fucking taken by some fucker named after a fish. So named after a fish in an obscure Bill Murray movie.
Well, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, that's that's what I need. I need somebody to give me a name for my show, or if you happen to come across one, let me know, because
So email John with some name ideas for an awesome
I thought about
podcast.
Clench. For some reason, Clench sticks with me, but why? Doesn't work. Johncast has been used all the fuck. There's just no clue. But I will. I promise you, I'll curse profusely and get really drunk and talk about dicks and stuff a lot.
There you go.
Yeah.
So what do you say we do the top 5 most badass movies of the 80s?
I say that sounds like a fine idea.
All right. I'm going to start with a runner-up because I couldn't narrow it down to 5, and I know that's annoying. But there's too many badass movies in the 80s.
So your runner-up is at 5?
My runner-up would, I guess, be technically 6.
Oh, okay. So, well, no. If it's a tie for 5th, or
you want to call it a tie
that's
for
what a
5th?
runner-up would be. It would be. It's like a tie for 5th place.
I thought runner-up meant like the one that just missed the cut.
Well, then why wouldn't it be a top 6 list?
Because I told you top 5. And then I went behind your back and added a 6th.
Okay, well, that's fine. For now.
For now. Do you have a 6th?
What's your number 6? What's your number 6? And this is any movie from the 80s. It doesn't matter. Genre, fucking stars, anything. Just any movie that was badass.
Correct.
Okay.
And my number 6 is The Terminator.
Yeah.
It's a badass
What
movie.
year was that?
84.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know James Cameron was making movies way back then.
Yeah, no shit. And seriously, even to this day, Sarah Connor, that it sticks with you.
Yep. Just, guy from the future, doesn't say much. Well, all Schwarzenegger movies are him not saying much, but just walking around shooting people, and there's robots.
Oh, but fuck, what he does say, it's become part of our lexicon. I mean, it's become part of... They're not just movie quotes. They're like overused classic movie quotes.
Yeah.
Hasta la vista, baby. I'll be back. How do you that's something to not only Cameron, but to Schwarzenegger. How do you turn the phrase, I'll be back, into something that's fucking enduring like it was?
And the funny part is that's about 50% of his dialogue for the whole movie.
Yeah. And great music, too, really. Great music, I think. Kind of like The Thing was, you know what I mean? Oh, fuck, I think I just found my number 6.
The Thing?
Oh, the Kurt Russell remake?
Yeah, we were talking about that last week, about how that's such an underrated, awesome horror movie.
You know they're making the prequel to that right now?
Oh, good. I thought they were redoing it.
You see, that's what everybody was bitching about, and now they've come out and said, no, it's more kind of a prequel.
But how do you make a prequel when it started in the first movie?
Well, I think the prequel would probably take place with the Norwegians and shit. You know, how the dog and the Norwegians showed up trying to kill the dog in the helicopter at the beginning, where they went and they found where they had been digging and found the spaceship and shit.
Well, all right, that's just terrible.
Yeah, I know. I agree. Have you ever seen the actual original?
It looks like a guy in a carrot
sequels.
suit. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate sequels. I hate remakes, but the John Carpenter's remake of The Thing from the original 50s version is fucking far superior.
Well, that's the thing. If you can make a movie I guess the point is these people think they're making it better, but they're not. Like, we should do the top 5 remade movies one week, because there's not a lot. There's not a lot that they've improved upon. It's usually they have better technology and like a worse script and worse acting, so it's overall a worse movie.
Exactly. Here, I'll tell you a good example of that, and it didn't make my list for most badass movie, but I saw it a million times when I was a kid in the 80s, was Clash of the Titans. Clash of the Titans with, oh god damn it, what's his name from L.A. Law? Terry Hamlin. And all that. It was cheesy, it was shitty.
I thought the claymation looked awesome. I love that.
Yeah, it was do you like the remake?
No. I'm talking about like the 50s one.
Oh, no, the original from the 80s. That was an 80s movie. Clash of the Titans was.
Was it? Am I thinking of the wrong movie? The one where he fights Medusa, and it's like...
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it was great in the 80s. And the remake for the 90s, the special effects and everything, it was killer. I mean, it was a beautifully done movie, but it wasn't the original.
Yeah, exactly. So what? So do you have a 6, or are we just jumping right into 5?
No. If I had a 6, it would probably be Clash of the Titans. Right?
Yeah. No,
so what's your number 5?
My number 5 is First Blood.
Oh, nice call.
Just a guy kind of snapping, attacking an entire like army camp on his own, and just fucking everyone up. Awesome.
And not the like superhero, the super soldier they became in all the sequels and shit.
Yeah, exactly. Just some dude.
Where he was just like a vet blowing through town, and they fucked with the wrong guy, man.
Also, this is Rambo, for those of you who don't know it, because the first Rambo movie is called First Blood.
Yeah, and everybody does call it Rambo.
Yeah. And then it's the most messed up, movie series ever, because the second one is called, Rambo First Blood Part 2?
Yeah.
And then the third one's called Rambo 3, and then the fourth one's called Rambo.
Yeah. I never saw the last one either.
I didn't either. I don't think I need to watch a 60-year-old Stallone running around.
Although Rambo 3 was when he went in the Middle East, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, the one cool thing, because I was, I think that's still an 80s movie, and I was a, kid in high school and all that. The one cool scene from that fucking movie is when he got shot, and it was a clean shot through his side, and he was in that cave, and he opened up these fucking shells, and he dumped the gunpowder into the fucking wound.
Yeah. That was the third one?
And then lit it so he could cauterize it shut. I think that qualifies as badass.
Was that the third one?
Not a badass movie, but a badass scene. That was cool, but the rest of that fucking shit sucked.
Wait, which one was that?
That was that 2 or 3? I thought 2 was when he went back to Vietnam, and 3 was when he went to the Middle East.
Okay, yeah, well, yeah, no, that was a badass scene. I didn't even know they had, I guess that series stayed pretty decent throughout.
It was a badass scene, but, it was the same formula, but they made him like a Superman.
Yeah.
After the first one, too, it had, some great actors in it. Brian Dennehy is a very underrated fucking actor. And I really like Brian Dennehy's cop in that, because he was unlikable, he was a douche, but there was also something where he was just, you could believe it. He's just some normal fucking small town cop who doesn't know what he's gotten himself into.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, then it's like, oh, who was the captain that came in later that, you don't know what you're messing with. John Rambo's fucking crazy, and he's a super soldier, and all he knows is how to kill. And then they just took that way over the top with the rest of the sequels.
I didn't know David Caruso was in that, too.
Was he?
He must have been really young.
No shit. His hair was probably brown then.
Yeah, before he decided to do cop dramas for the rest of his life.
Yeah, no shit. David Caruso was in that for real?
Yeah, he was 26 in that.
Ah, wow.
Yeah, that must have been one of his...
just to bring this up, too, because it just popped into my head, I live close to the Quad Cities. For those of you that don't know what it is, fucking Google it, whatever. I don't know why it made me think of Patrick Swayze, but Patrick Swayze I don't believe is dead because there is an anchor on the weekend Quad Cities newscast. I'm not going to give, well, yeah, I will give the letters, WQAD. And he tries to make like he's a she, but it's him, and he's got his hair pulled back in a ponytail, and it is Peace Waves.
Interesting.
Just want to bring that up because he missed my top 5. Patrick Swayze was in like a great badass. It might be on your top 5, so I'm not going to fucking mention it. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, we're up to your top. You're number 5.
Oh, see, I was heading to sneak out the pee. My number 5 is Poltergeist.
Poltergeist, number 5, badass movie of the 80s.
Badass movie of the 80s because there were so many movies that were just huge in the 80s with Steven Spielberg, behind the helm. But the one that was really badass and the one that I just really got into that didn't have that touchy-feely, good time E.T. Goonies fucking feel was Poltergeist.
Yeah, it was a pretty dark movie.
Yeah, very dark movie. And even around it, the shit around it, like Carol Ann dying young and all that, the girl who played her. And the really big one for me was like one of the final fucking scenes in the movie is when Craig T. Nelson's character's out there with his boss, and they're talking about the subdivision and what happened, and he's fucking, I love this quote, he's got a hold of him by the shoulder, and he's like, he goes, you moved the headstones, you son of a bitch, you moved the headstones, but you didn't move the fucking body. You didn't move the bodies. Why? That stuck with me since I was a little kid, man. I fucking love that. And it was badass because it never really got resolved. It always kind of left it up in the air. I mean, they made the cute little fucking Steven Spielberg-y jokey thing at the end where we went to the motel and put the TV outside. But yeah, I mean, the little midget bitch said, this house is clean. It's actually this house is clean, but that's been bastardized all over the place. This house is clean. No, it wasn't, because all of a sudden there's like some big white dragon fucking thing chasing tennis balls out of the closet and everything else at the end.
Yeah.
And I also really liked the movie because it brought to the forefront of popular culture exactly how fucking evil sock monkeys are.
That is true.
I mean, you shouldn't laugh and make light of it because sock monkeys are fucked up.
They are.
I don't know. Maybe when I was in my crib sleeping on my belly, I got raped by one. I don't know what the fuck happened.
Those caught on again too.
Wrong. Huh?
Those caught on again too. That's those are popular again.
Fucking car commercial where it's like the Yo Gabba Gabba guy and the fucking I hate that shit.
Yeah.
No sock monkeys. No sock monkeys.
My number 4. I didn't know I picked 2 James Cameron movies. I guess he made really good movies in the 80s before he decided to go all Titanic on us. But my number 4 is Aliens with an S.
Yes.
Which is the second Alien movie where they just go to a planet full of aliens and just fuck shit up for 2 hours.
Paul Reiser, Bill Paxton, fucking Sigourney, great movie. One of my other favorite fucking quotes is, we're all fucked, man. Game over, man.
Yeah.
Game over.
I would argue that is the one series where they actually get better as they go. Up until 3. I don't know about part 4, but I thought 2 was better than 1 and 3 was better than 2.
3 was the one where she was on the prison planet, right?
Yeah, and there's one loose
with
in there.
Winona Ryder?
Yep.
Yes. You know what? I agree. They did
a really good job with the first 3 movies of that series.
And the first one is still fucking just classic.
It is. It is. It was classic, but it was not badass, so it didn't make the list.
No, you don't think that was badass? Yeah, 2 was badass because they were sending in the Space Marines and not some mining company geeks and shit.
Yeah, the first one, like, everyone's scared and, like, there's an alien on a ship. The second one, they're like, you know what? We're taking the fight to the aliens, and we're just going to destroy everyone. 2 is badass.
Yeah, I do have to agree. The aliens, Brad, I thought about it when I was coming up with my list, but I just have ones that I actually like better.
There's a lot of badass movies in the 80s. What's your number 4?
My number 4? My number 4 is Predator. Speaking of aliens.
That's right. That's my number 3.
Yeah, that was 87, and that was like, it was nothing that the formula has been used again now, but it was not anything that anybody was expecting at the time. I mean, the first half of the fucking movie, the first quarter of it, is just this big action movie. Like The Expendables was supposed to be. I mean, you have this all-star action cast of guys, and they go in, and it's some fucking kick-ass scenes, man. It's some badass scenes where they're going into this Contra camp and shit and tearing shit up trying to meet their objective. Then all of a sudden it goes all fucking space alien and fucked up because there's, some guy hunting it, or there's some alien hunting it. And, again, I mean, it's another Arnold movie in the list because Arnold owned the 80s, man.
He sure did.
Arnold totally owned the 80s. And Predator, I mean, so many lines out of that fucking movie. One of my favorites actually isn't even, like, I guess, one of the best known, but it's a well-known one. It's Jesse Ventura when they're getting ready to fly in and he's taking the chew and everything. And the guy he's offering it to is like, nah, man, I'm good. And he's like, are you sure this shit will make you a sexual tyrannosaurus? Fat.
Just the fact that Jesse Ventura's in it is a plus, I think, too.
Well, and he had the exact same gun that you would love to have during a zombie apocalypse.
The minigun, man. Any movie with a minigun is a good movie.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. And that's the first time, actually, in any movie, that's the first time I was ever introduced to a minigun like that. And when they were just mowing down the goddamn jungle with it.
Yep. So awesome. I guess we got to go to your number 3 because that was my number 3.
Oh, that was your number 3?
Yeah.
Actually, my number 3, well, you know what? Because I've got a feeling that the one that I would put on here, the tie, is going to be in your top 5, so I'm not going to go with it. My number 3...
You hinted to it, and I'm pretty sure you're right, so don't do it.
Okay. All right. My number 3 is Die Hard.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, Die Hard, to me, Die Hard was just badass because nobody had really done that before either. Mm-hmm. I mean, and it wasn't big badass fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was, bald ass hungover Bruce Willis, divorce, a fucking mess, and everything else. Gritty ass fucking, let's become the epitome of the New York cop and shit. Trapped out in L.A. And what most people forget, if you ask me for my list of top 10 Christmas movies of all time, Die Hard fucking lands on that too, because it was fucking Christmas time and there was a lot of Christmas reference in it. Mm-hmm. But just the whole thing between John McClane and Hans Gruber in that fucking movie. And I give all kinds of credit to fucking Alan Rickman for playing Hans Gruber, because just when McClane's wife said to him, you're nothing more than a common thief, that's when he finally snaps and gets pissy with anybody for the first time. Mm-hmm. He goes, no, I'm an exceptional thief. I fucking love that.
That movie also had one of the best bad guys in it.
Oh, yeah.
I forget the actor's name, but he was awesome.
Yeah, Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman, yep. Yeah. He was great.
Yeah, Hans Gruber, he was beautiful.
Although I watched that recently, and it's a little cheesy now. Didn't hold up as good as I thought it would.
Well, I can agree with that. My number 1, I will say that I agree with that on. But I base it on the fact that when I was the age I was when I watched it, it was fucking bad.
It was. Now his one-liners are too much, though. Like he's crawling through well, no, not even that. He's crawling through the vents, and he goes, "What am I, a microwave dinner?" And I was like, "Oh, dude, no."
Well, the thing with a lot of that though is is you forget that this movie was the first one to do kind of like shit like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's been done so much since then that you go back and watch it and you're like, but you got to pay homage to the fact that it started a lot of shit.
Right, right.
Lines of that type of movie.
Yeah, no, that's true. Let's see. My number 2 is RoboCop.
Just got done watching those too. That's a great movie.
Sure is. Sure is. The scene where that leads to him becoming RoboCop is still amazing. Yeah,
and it just very, very uncomfortable to watch.
Which only reinforces my argument that computer animation is bullshit, because they used, I don't know what the fuck they used, but the scene where they just shoot his hand and his hand explodes, awesome. And it still looks good even today. I watched it recently too, and I mean, that scene holds up.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you want to, it's not a badass movie, but it is a movie from the 80s that kind of deals with that, FX, if you remember that.
Mm-hmm, yep.
Just the shit they were doing back then that was like supposed to be state of the art, and these guys were all flying by the seat of their pants. But yeah, like you said, when they blow Peter Weller apart before he becomes RoboCop, yeah, just fucking great.
Such a good scene.
And you know what? Donald Trump should have to pay them for "You're Fired."
yeah, exactly. They also have I'd buy that for $1, which shows up throughout the movie too. Yes.
And the thing is, we have a channel around here, local channel called This, and they show just crazy off-the-wall fucking movies. You never know what you're going to get. But it's not anything super mainstream or anything new. And they went on a RoboCop kick like 2 weeks ago, and they were showing 1, 2, and 3 right after each other.
Nice.
And I remember, it made me remember, even as a kid, going to see RoboCop, the first one, and being like, oh, this is fucking awesome. And then seeing the second one, and even then going, oh, yeah, cool, but even then going, yeah, this is kind of a ripoff.
Yeah.
And RoboCop 3, it's like, that's not even fucking Peter. What are you guys even doing in the story? What's
And then in the 2000s, they came out with like 4 more out of nowhere.
Yeah, and a lot of them, they were direct to DVD, weren't they?
Yeah, I haven't seen any of those. I'm not sure if they're even worth watching or not.
Well, RoboCop's got such a cult following. I mean, it really was. I'm really surprised. I almost threw RoboCop on the list, too, but I just know that my top 2 are, I went with what's near and dear to my heart.
Well, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is one that probably nobody is going to know, and I try and push this movie on anybody whenever I can. It's called Near Dark. It was made in 1987. Huh?
I don't know it.
Yeah, it was made in 87. It's got Bill Paxton and Lance Henriksen are the 2 names that you'd remember in it. And it's about vampires down in Texas. And what happens is one of the girls, they ride around in Texas, these vampires. Lance Henriksen is the head vampire. You can tell by his dirty knees. And they ride around in this fucking RV that's equipped with like ultraviolet windows and shit like that, so they don't have the sun on them. And they basically go around doing their vampire things. Well, one of the girls that they change early on, some young Texas guy down out and about and everything gets bit by her, and the story's about him starting to change and running with all of these Texas vampires and shit. And what's cool is that it's not this faggoty fucking Twilight shit. They're not sparkly vampires. The fucking sun touches them, they burn. There's one of the vampires that's a kid, but he's been a fucking vampire for like 200 years and shit, and he's very, very pissed off that he's still stuck in this fucking kid's body. But it's Texas. It's fucking Texas vampire, so it's big, it's over the top. Bill Paxton's character, at one point they go to this bar, and this kid is finally starting to turn into the vampire that got bit. Not the kid, but the guy they bit, the main protagonist in the movie. And he's got the powers and everything, and they go into this fucking bar, and they're going to initiate him into being a vampire. Bill Paxton's thing is, it's Texas. He's wearing these cowboy boots. He's got these fucking silver spurs and shit on, sharpened up like a motherfucker. and he likes to roundhouse kick a person in their fucking throat and shit, you know?
Roundhouses are underrated.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, that probably goes into your number one. but he likes to kick him in the throat, and it just, when they're in the bar, coolest part of that entire movie, just beyond the fact that it's just this little fucking gritty-ass, dirty vampire fucking nugget that nobody knows about. And I've just always loved it since I've seen it. It was made, like I said, 87, called Near Dark. IMDb it, fuckers.
I just added it to my Netflix queue while you were explaining it, actually.
When they're in the bar, the bartender, pulls out a shotgun and he shoots the new guy that they're bringing in to initiate as a vampire. He's starting to change. Shoots him in the stomach. And the kid fucking falls back, and he's like, and he's up, and he's got this huge gaping hole in his stomach, and he fucking coughs, and he pukes blood, and then he starts, like, taking a breath and everything, and he stands up straight, and he starts looking around, and Bill Paxton, being Bill Paxton, looks over at him, and he goes, trip, ain't it? Just a fucking great, great movie, man. Near Dark, if nobody's ever seen it, it's got Lance Henriksen. How can you not like a movie with Lance Henriksen in it?
Yeah, I'm going to check that one out. I haven't seen that one.
That's a great one. That's my number two. I mean, it's a guilty pleasure, but I think more people should have seen that movie. Nobody has ever seen that, and I just really thought that was before direct to fucking video shit. You know what I mean? Just I can't believe it slipped under the radar.
So that's our third movie from '87. So I think we could say '87 was the most badass year of the '80s.
It may very well have been. Yeah.
That along with RoboCop and Predator.
Predator
that's a pretty
was
good year.
87.
So my number one, which surprisingly on IMDb does not get a very good rating, which I think is the most badass movie of the 80s, is Red Dawn.
Oh, wow. That's not where I thought you were going to go.
It isn't.
No.
You thought I was going to go Karate Kid, didn't you?
I would join you with this. Wolverines.
Fucking Wolverines, man. Russians take over America. Rebel group trying to fight back. Just awesome.
Yeah.
First movie ever with Charlie Sheen. It was
when they put the bug or that tracking device in his brother, and he had to kill his brother.
That's one of the most powerful scenes ever.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. Red Dawn. Fuck yes. See, Thomas, I mean, that was the whole brat pack of the fucking 80s too in that movie.
Yeah, you had Patrick Swayze, Charlie Sheen. I don't even know who else, but Thomas C. Howell. Just a great movie. There's so many memorable scenes when they have to like pee in the gas tank to get some more fuel to drive, and you get so fucking pumped up when the fucking Wolverines form. It is.
Fuck yes.
No, I want to watch this movie right now. Such a good movie. All right, what's your number one?
Actually, I guess I'm going to have to make it a tie.
All right. So you have a
I
top
won't make
six
it a tie
too.
because
Actually.
I didn't want to steal what I thought was going to be your number one. But we'll start with what my original number one was. But there should be this movie included as well as my number one for badass 80s movies. The first one is The Empire Strikes Back, mainly because of the entire fucking Star Wars series. It is the best fucking movie, bar none.
How did I forget the entire Star Wars series? Man, I stink.
Because for the 80s, I mean, you can't count Star Wars because it was, 77, 78?
Well,
The Empire Strikes Back barely made it in 1980, and then The Return of the Jedi sucked, was gay as fuck, but it tied up the loose ends.
I strongly disagree with that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You don't disagree with.
No, it was the last half hour when they had the three simultaneous fights. They had the space fight, and then they had the Darth Vader fight, and then they
Right.
I love that part.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the way they built it up. I mean, I'm not saying that it's a shit movie like Red Heat or something was, but just out of all of the fucking Star Wars movies,
there was more questionable stuff in that one than the others. But that last half hour for me, like, I just thought that was just so awesome, having the three simultaneous fights and all three of them, like, you know, the rebels were losing, and I just love that last half hour. I could do without feeding cookies to Ewoks for 20 minutes. Yes, I'm not gonna lie.
hottest Princess Leia outfit, too, by far, in the beginning when she was with Jabba.
Yeah, I mean, the first half hour is awesome, and the last half hour is awesome. So, I mean...
I agree, but really, out of all of them, I mean, Empire's the one that did, for me, what a movie should do at its basis form. Is it just, when I got done watching it, I was just like, oh, what the fuck? And it left me just really wanting to know what else was going to happen. It wasn't like, it's done, I'm going to go home, and then I'm fucking, I'm done thinking about it. I fucking thought about it forever, and this is before internet forums or anything else, and everybody was wondering what the fuck is going to happen. I mean, that became like a big, before there was such a thing as any kind of...
Very groundbreaking to have the good guys just get their asses kicked for 2 straight hours.
Oh, fuck yeah, and they did. They got run out of Hoth. Luke got his ass beat by some abominable snowman. I mean, just... And couple that with the fact that I really, really, at that age, in 1980, I would have been 9 years old. I really wanted to be a Jedi.
Yeah.
Really
did you ever, try to, have something, come to you by reaching out toward it?
I still do.
just in case I have it and I didn't know, yeah.
I don't know how many times I've been sitting there and, my beer's out of reach, and I'm just like...
Come on, Force. Kick in.
No, and it won't.
And Han Solo gets frozen.
Han Solo gets, everybody gets fucked. C-3PO gets blown to shit.
Yeah, he's in a million pieces.
And just, it's not happy at all. And it throws on you what everybody knows now. It's just so, we all know that it's boring. But at the time, Darth Vader, the guy who's the bad motherfucker, that's Luke's father, I mean, all that shit gets just fucking shoved down your throat and then not resolved.
Yeah.
And how much balls did that take back then?
Yeah, and then you have to wait 2 years to find out what happened?
And back then, when you were making movies and shit, you made a movie that had a beginning, a middle, and a fucking end.
And that end had better be happy, too.
Yeah. Well, it didn't have to be happy. Well, yeah, I guess it kind of did have to be happy.
Almost every single movie had a sappy, happy ending, no matter what.
Yeah, it had a. You are right there. But one that didn't have a happy ending that's tied with my first place, Roadhouse.
Roadhouse. I'm not sure if I know that one.
Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Well, for those of you who are listening, they're going, what the fuck? Jason, where can they email you at and tell you about fucking Roadhouse?
thebrinkofsanity@gmail.com. Also didn't get very good ratings in IMDb. You people are nuts.
How have you not seen Roadhouse? Is a classic. Roadhouse is Patrick Swayze rips the motherfucker's throat out with his bare hand at the end of the movie because he's finally forced to do what he always didn't want to do, which is fight.
Queuing up for
it's
Roadhouse.
It's about bouncers in Texas, man. You've never seen Roadhouse?
Queuing up for it right now. Did you see Roadhouse 2, Last Call?
Oh, fuck no. What a travesty. And I love the fact, though, part of my guilty pleasure is the way they name sequels. And, yeah, Roadhouse 2. What, is there a colon after it? Roadhouse 2?
Colon, Last Call.
Yeah, there's a reason they put a colon before they put the sequel.
It had to be straight to DVD. It was from 2006.
No.
Who said, 17 years later, we need to make a shitty remake of Roadhouse?
Roadhouse is it was badass because it was you know how you had the Karate Kid, who was kind of like Daniel San, pussy kid that everybody was, that got over on his fucking bullies. But in Roadhouse, you kind of had the same Mr. Miyagi attitude from Patrick Swayze, but except that he was a badass. But his last recourse was to fight. He didn't want to fight. He wanted to make sure you didn't have to fight.
Mm-hmm.
But, of course, the guys who wrote the script made sure that Patrick Swayze had to whip all kinds of fucking ass. And Sam Waterston's in it. I mean, how can you not... I can't believe you've never seen
Yeah.
It'd be like you telling me you've never seen Tombstone.
No, I've seen Tombstone. Well,
yeah,
That's Val Kilmer, right?
Huh?
Val Kilmer?
Yes, Doc Holliday. Yeah, who stole the whole movie. Yeah.
Val Kilmer is underrated. I'm sticking to that statement.
Yeah, he is. I do agree.
I don't know why people decided that Val Kilmer sucks, but he's underrated.
No, he doesn't. You know what? Here's a movie from the 80s that I really like that has Val Kilmer. And it's not a badass movie, but it was great. Top Secret. You remember that?
No.
It was like the airplane movies and everything else, but it was about spies and it had Val Kilmer in it.
I am missing a lot of classic movies under my belt. I don't think I've seen Top Gun.
No, you didn't miss anything with Top Gun.
Most underrated Val Kilmer movie, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Never. Now there's one I've never seen.
Robert Downey Jr. and Val Kilmer, fucking hilarious.
That's what I've heard.
It's really, really good.
There was also one that Val Kilmer did where he played John Holmes.
That's awesome.
All right, so Alex joined the show, so he's going to jump in on our conversation. Actually, Alex has seen Roadhouse, so now I am officially in the minority. And I just queued it up on Netflix, so I will be watching it.
You should watch Near Dark first.
Near Dark, I queued up for that too. So now it's.
I would love to hear from you personally. Send me a message or something after you watch it and tell me what you thought. Because, like I said, there's so many fucking and I don't want to get Tracy Morgan here, but there's so many fucking faggy vampire movies and shit out, and even like True Blood on HBO that's all about love. This is just straight up Texas vampires, man, and it's badass. It is a badass 80s movie.
I may have to bump it up because those two movies are now $385 and $386 on my Netflix queue. So I get to those around 2020.
What are your top five? What are the top five in your queue right now?
Top five, let's see, 6 Feet Under, Season 4, Disc 1.
Is that any good, by the way?
It's very good. It's awesome seeing Dexter in a different role.
I can't believe he beat cancer like he did either.
Yeah, well, if you're rich, you could beat cancer.
Yeah, you can. But yeah, I've always wanted to watch, and my wife swears to me we watched like the first half of the season when it first came out, and that I really liked it, but I don't remember.
Yeah, my girlfriend and I have been plowing through it. We started maybe a month ago, and we got one episode left in the third season. So let's see, what else do I have? I have Rain Man, JFK Special Edition. What was that?
You've seen Rain Man, though, right?
I've seen probably the whole movie in pieces. Like, I always seem to see a half hour at a time. I don't think I've seen it straight through. But I think I've seen the whole movie, like, a half hour here and a half hour there. So now I want to see what it's actually like sequentially.
Tokyo Gore Police? What the hell is that?
Tokyo Gore Police is a hot Asian that slays zombies.
Awesome.
that is
I
actually
agree because
seventh.
my oldest boy actually shares your affinity for things like that.
The Asian persuasion.
Yes, big time.
So we got JFK Special Edition Grindhouse, which is part of the double feature by Tarantino.
Yeah. You know what? I really like Death Proof. I love Death Proof.
I saw the other movie of the double feature.
Planet Nine Terror or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Rose McGowan.
Not bad, but Death Proof is more, I think, definitely and subtly done.
All right. And then Inside Man rounds out my top five.
No, I have not seen that.
Yeah, it got good reviews. I don't know. I always like the 2 through 5 have been 2 through 5 for about a year. I just keep bumping stuff up ahead of them. So who knows when I'll get to it.
Have you seen Thank You for Smoking?
Yeah, that was good.
I finally, because everybody I've ever known has told me, you need to watch that. That needs to be your job. You should watch that. And I finally did, and I'm like, wow, everybody thinks that I'm really a moralist dick. That's awesome.
Oh, back to Val Kilmer. When did he decide to gain 50 pounds?
Oh, I know.
He's
what the
fucking
I just
huge.
saw him in something where he's heavy as fuck too, and it's a new release.
Dude, you were Jim Morrison like 15 years ago. What happened?
Which I thought he did a great job. I thought he did a fine job. Every time I see anything with the Doors, I'm like, I think about him.
He did an amazing job. He was Jim Morrison
That was
for
Oliver
that movie.
Stone, right?
Yeah. No, he was amazing in that. It's just you're not going to get a lot of work if you gain like 70 pounds. You're just not.
He was in a prison movie. with he was a con who'd been in forever, and he was sharing a cell with some guy who just came in because he had made the mistake of some guys broke into his house, fucked his wife up and everything, but then when he came in on them, they were running away, and he shot him in the back, so he went to jail instead, because they were trying to get away. He shouldn't have shot him. And he walks into the cell with Val Kilmer, who's this big badass who's been in prison forever and everything. And the best line in the movie is Kilmer looks at him and he goes, "So, you want to fight or you want to fuck?" And the other guy's like, is there a third option? And that kind of, I like that. If I ever go to prison, I'm probably going to use that line just to maybe keep from getting raped.
Nice. You said you're number one, right? That was the other Swayze movie?
Well, yeah, either Empire Strikes Back or Roadhouse, which I just, like I said, I'm in total disbelief. Everybody's seen Roadhouse.
Wait, how about Ghostbusters?
I can't, you know what? If I went Bill Murray, I'd go Stripes.
That's a fucking great movie, though.
But those aren't badass.
All right,
but yeah, Stripes wasn't badass. But if you're going to go for true smart-ass Bill Murray, Ghostbusters was a little over the top with it, and it was more on the special. It was a great movie. I fucking love Ghostbusters, but if I go for a Bill Murray movie like that, I go for Stripes.
Yeah, Stripes.
Did not like Ghostbusters 2.
Oh my god, yeah.
Did not like.
Oh yeah, that was hideous.
All right.
I don't think any of them. If you watch Bill Murray in that movie, he didn't like doing it.
Yeah, I think that's why he's not on for Ghostbusters 3 because 2 was so bad.
Oh, 2 was fucking horrible. I mean, what are Ghostbusters? My favorite line in the whole movie is just one quick little line, and there's so many. Oh, he slimed me and all that. My favorite is when Dan Aykroyd is like, everything was fine until Dick was here, shut down the power grid, and the mayor goes, "Is this true?" And Bill Murray goes, "Yes, Your Honor, this man has no dick." I was a kid. I fucking love that. I was like, that's fucking hilarious.
Yep.
I remember that.
Alex, do you want to chime in on your top 5 badass movies?
Dude.
Badass.
Well, off the top of my head, definitely Die Hard.
Mm-hmm. That was in John's top 5.
Well, now that he said it, I would definitely have to put Roadhouse up there because I remember watching that like so many times I can't even recall.
He tears a guy's throat out at the end, and he didn't want to. That's fucking badass.
Yeah, everyone loves a fighter who, no, I don't want to use my powers for bad or whatever, and then he
exactly
gets forced into it. You're not let me think, because it's hard for me to like. What would you? Was Aliens in the 80s, or is that?
Yep, that was my number 4.
Okay, Aliens. I'll say Aliens.
Aliens with an S. Yeah, that one was badass.
Well, yeah, the first one was like there was no action at all. It was like
it was more like a psychological thriller, whatever you want to call it.
Oh Jesus, more badass movies.
So you got Roadhouse, you have Die Hard, and you have Aliens.
And then, oh Jesus,
this is like a weird hybrid of the 2 of our top 5 lists.
Quit showing me IMDb because now you're putting ideas in my head.
Oh, that was my top 5. I opened up.
Can I go with one just for a line that always stuck with me?
Sure.
Commando with Schwarzenegger, since Schwarzenegger owned the 80s.
Yeah, he did.
Mm-hmm. Commando, there was the smarmy little fucker, the rat guy named Solly. And Solly had the drop on Schwarzenegger at one point when he had all of his fucking buds with him and shit in Commando, which had Alyssa Milano looking hot as fuck because she was underage then. And he pointed at Solly. Schwarzenegger did, and he's like, "Solly, I'm going to kill you last." And then there's a point later on in the movie where Schwarzenegger's got Solly on top of a building, hanging him over the side and everything, and he's like, "Solly, remember how I told you I'd kill you last?" So I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I lied," and he lets him drop. That was fucking. And the fact that in Commando he used a circular saw blade like a fucking ninja star and fucked the guy up.
Is that the scene where he's holding him over a cliff?
I thought he was holding him over the edge of a building. Maybe it was a cliff, but he's like, "Solly, I just remember that line. Solly, remember how I told you I would kill you last?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I lied." Boom.
There is a scene where he's holding a guy maybe over a building or a cliff, and the camera jerks up really quick, and you see the cable attached to the guy's foot. That's in Commando.
That's probably it. Commando was not like one of the big ones that. Really
no, it was definitely low budget on that one.
Rocky 3.
I agree. Rocky 3 almost made my list because as a kid, man, I didn't care about Apollo Creed in either of the first two.
No.
Clubber Lang, man, I wanted to see Clubber Lang get his ass beat. Fuck Mr. T.
Yeah, dude. And then they had the Hulk there. So
yes, they had the wrestling and all that.
Yeah,
shit,
it was like.
And he did kill the trainer.
Yeah.
I would argue that 4 was more badass just for the training scene in Russia, where Drago is using steroids and he's just climbing up mountains and just growing a beard and just being awesome.
No.
That was.
You know what? If I was going to go Dolph Lundgren, I don't know if it's an 80s movie or not, and this is a bit of an obscure one. You guys may not have heard of it. It's called Come in Peace.
No, I don't think I know that one.
See, I don't know if it actually qualifies as an 80s movie, but it was very kick-ass. It was if it wasn't late 80s, it was very early 90s.
No.
And Dolph Lundgren plays a cop in it with the guy who was oh god, there used to be a series on HBO.
1990.
Was it 90?
1990, yeah.
Put that in your quay, though. That's a great one too. That's a great fucking B movie. It's so great a B movie that sometimes if you search it, you have to search under different titles.
Nice. That's when you know it's a good B movie. Like every city it's released in has a different title.
Yeah, exactly. It's like never mind. I was going to make a great fucking sound. Never mind. I was going to actually make the wrong reference. So never mind.
In Netflix, it must be under something else because I typed in "I Come in Peace" and I came up with Mandy Moore.
No, Mandy Moore.
I'm assuming she's not in it.
You come in her piece, or
Mandy Moore in 1990 was what, 3 months old?
I don't even know.
Yeah, tighter.
Oh my god, love it, love it.
So what's your number one or your last part of your top 5?
I had one in my head, and then you guys, I lost it.
We distracted you with Mandy Moore's tighter.
Yeah, let me. I'll just. Fuck.
She makes some terrible. I was at the gym today, and one of her movies was on TV, and it was one of the worst things I've ever seen. Macaulay Culkin was in it, though.
Yeah.
But it was terrible.
That's supposed to make it better?
No, I wanted confirmation that he was still alive.
Oh, Terminator.
Terminator. All right. That was on mine too.
The first one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Although I think we can all agree the second one was the best one.
Oh,
yeah.
Definitely.
First one might have been more badass. The second one was better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, a little short story about Terminator 2. When the wife and I first met, it was when Terminator 2 was getting ready to come out. And the week that we went and saw Terminator 2 when it was released, we went and saw it at the theater as soon as it came out. We also already had tickets for the first Lollapalooza, Jane's Addiction, Nine Inch Nails, going to see all of that. And still have a T-shirt.
That was an epic Lollapalooza,
up in Chicago.
Nice.
I said that was an epic Lollapalooza.
It really was. Actually, the one with Primus and Alice in Chains and everything was one of my favorites. But the first one was great because it was Jane's Addiction, Nine Inch Nails, and just a bunch of great bands, and nobody had been doing that yet.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But that's not my point. My point is we were going to go see that movie that weekend, or we were going to go see that concert that weekend. We had the tickets, and then we went to go see Terminator 2. Well, as we got into the theater to sit down, my wife says, well, I know we're going to go this weekend and everything, so I'm sure that we can come across it again. Why don't we do this before we watch the movie? And she pulled out 2 fucking hits of fucking acid. Some white blotter and shit. And I'm like, because at that time, that summer, we call that the summer acid because there was, like, no weed around, no anything. But, I mean, there was fucking acid everywhere. So I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do that. And we eat the acid, and we watched Terminator 2 fucking tripping. And my favorite part of that whole movie that will always stick with me because I was tripping wasn't really the special effects or anything else. It was the part where Linda Hamilton is sitting at the picnic table with the fucking knife, and she's carving the shit into the fucking picnic table. And at that point, that's when I was like, the frying balls. And I'm like, oh oh my god, look how buff she is, and just everything. It was just fucking crazy. Man.
Oh my god.
Nice.
And the worst part, never got any more acid for the next Lollapalooza. that was the shitty part. We ended up just drinking, smoking a little weed.
Yeah.
Well, I think that top 5 went pretty well.
Yeah, there was 5 of them.
Yep, there sure were 5. I think there was actually 6, but who's counting?
And did people call in and disagree with you and refute?
No, but maybe we'll get some emails or comments on the website about it.
Wait, are you back to voting again? I thought I saw something about
Yeah, finally. It's they actually fixed the voting, so you can actually vote again. So
actually, if you want to cue it up real quick, or if you want to check, the wife, my phone was beeping, and she was just letting me know that I Come in Peace is also known as Dark Angel.
Okay.
Dark Angel.
I'm gonna check that out. Okay, so yeah, you can submit your own top 5, thebrinkofsanity@gmail.com, or just go to brinkofsanityshow.com and add your top 5 there. And I guess that's it. I don't want to bombard you with shit to do. Just do that. We also have an iPhone and a Android app, so you can get those, help support the show.
iPad app?
The iPhone one works for the iPad, and so you can get that. And we still have shirts too. If you want a Brink of Sanity shirt, just go on the website brinkofsanityshow.com. And that's it. So thanks for joining us. It's been fun. Thank you, John. And
always a pleasure.
Let everyone know when you get a name for your new show, and
yeah,
all the info for that.
Oh, you're coming out with a show too, John?
No, I've actually had one for a couple of years. Just actually ran into some legal shit. So.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, he was John, previously known as Random Ass Radio.
Got it.
But soon to be known as whatever awesome name he comes up with. Yes.
Sweet. I'll have to check it out.
Yes. So, we'll be back soon, and thanks for listening, everybody. And I'm going to talk really slow until I get the goodbye song. Goodbye.
Bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. Go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone. Feels so good to say goodbye. I'm sick and tired and I'm saying goodbye. Goodbye, girl. Goodbye, everybody.
So they got greedy, and I changed it to just the DVD plan. So, because they're streaming, they don't have any of the shows I watch on streaming. So, my friend's like, yeah, but they have a lot if you watch what they have, and I'm like, well, I don't want to change all the shows I'm watching just to conform to what they offer me.
Didn't Hitler kind of use that same form of logic when he was convinced in Germany that the Jews were the problem?
Seriously, fuck them.
It's like, well, you know what? Maybe you don't hate people, but there's plenty of them out there to hate.